if you come across this video and you happen to be a gold trader, then you would want to watch this video to the end, because I'm going to be sharing with you guys my thoughts on gold and what you can look for, or what you should be looking out for in this new week. All right. So, but before I continue, make sure you subscribe to this channel and also join our free telegram group, because that's where we post most of our setups and everything. Now, last week was a wonderful week for us. We took some trades last week. In fact, last week, one of the things we told you guys was that we're looking for price to come down to 4964 level, which is somewhere around here, right? This is Monday, and from there we'll be looking for buys from like 5,4964 level. And as you can see right here, price came down to 4964 level, and in fact spot on, and then began to reject from there. We actually took this buys last week, all right, and at the end of the day we got taken out at break even, right? Because price didn't manage to continue to break higher. Instead, price tanked. And it's quite understandable, because last week I also told you guys that there might be some issue right here, right? Because of this trend of this break of trend line that we had right over here. So I wasn't surprised to see the price actually dropped. So we weren't able to get a trade here because I slept off, right, guys? And later on Friday, we were able to catch this trade. In fact, on Thursday, we were able to catch off the first another buy trade somewhere around here, right? Which nearly took also came out at break even. But if you see, if you still held the trade, if you go check our Telegram, you'd still be holding that trade, right? And it's gone up about 1,340 pips, 340 pips in profit, or 1,400 pips in profit. Then on Friday, we caught another trade right here. We posted all this on our Telegram, so you could go see it. And we caught this one also on Friday. In fact, this Friday was a crazy day because of the way gold moved after a particular news or so. I mean, it was crazy. But we caught this trade, and it's gone up about 100 and sorry, 100 and something pips. I mean, 1,100 and something pips in profit. Okay, so now in this new week, what are we going to be looking out for? That's what I'm going to be sharing with you guys in this video. So make sure you watch this video to the end, and like I said, you can join our free Telegram. All right, and also don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and share with people. We're doing our very best to give out, useful information, and we're just still at 200 and something. Come on, guys, subscribe, click that button, smash that button. All right, guys, so let's get into it. Now we're going to be doing what we normally do, our top-down analysis. All right, so we'll start from the higher time frame, which is going to be the monthly. Okay, so let's go to the monthly charts. Good. Now, looking at the monthly, we can clearly see that gold is still very much bullish, right? And in fact, gold now is trading above the 5,000 level, which is a good thing for us. So what are we going to do? We're going to stick to looking for buying opportunities. I mean, that just makes sense, right? All right, so let's go to the weekly. And looking at the weekly, and we're getting into the last week of the month of February, all right? So it's a very important week to see, for us to see how gold's going to close in this month of February, because in this new week, it's looking like gold will close bullish above 5,000 level in this month, right? And that's really good, because if gold closes above the 5,000 level in this month, then it means that we're going to see a continued push up, all right, to the all-time high most likely, and probably break it, and then we're going to see a move to 6,000, which is a good thing. And I told you guys this when we saw that massive drop from 5,500 down to 4,400 level. I told you guys that I don't think that selling, that massive sell-off that usually happens and takes place for a long period of time has actually started. I told you guys this, and I even said, in fact, in our previous videos, if you go look for them, I told you guys that we'll be expecting gold to come down to 4,400, and from there we'll be most likely seeing a rejection from there, and exactly that happened. I just have to keep reminding you guys about this, because we know how we're very good with our analysis. All right, so now looking at the weekly, like we said, let's go back to the chart. Looking at the weekly, you can see this week that just closed very bullish, but slightly almost became, it was almost close to becoming an engulfing candle. It just didn't manage to go above this previous top of this previous week, but it managed to, go below the previous the low of the previous week. So but it's quite bullish. All right, so what I would have normally said was that we'll be expecting for gold to come down to the 50% level of this week's candle, which is going to be somewhere around here, which is 5,000. But I don't think that gold would most likely come down that much in this new week to that level, right? So as you can see, it's around close to the 5,000 level, which is around 4979 level. But like I said, I'm not sure that will happen. It might not get down to that level, but either way, let me still mark that out so that it would be that we took note of that. Okay, sorry, mark this out well. All right, so I want you guys to follow me, right? So that's the 50% level, so let's delete this fib. Now this is the 50% level, which if you can see, this is quite like a support right here, so it makes sense, right? But like I said, I'm not sure price would come down that low, that much. I think price can try to come down to this level, which is 5041 level. So let's mark that out. 5041 level right here, price could try to come down to that point. So let's mark that out. Let me extend this to out a little. Good. So now let's go to the daily. Let's see what things are beginning to look like on the daily. Now, good. Now you can see these things are now looking clearer, better here now. So on the daily, what can we now expect? Like we said, this is the 50% level for us to, let's write that out, 50% fib. All right, for the week. So price could either come down to this first level or come down to this 50% level. I won't want it to come down to 50% level, because if it does that, then it's going to be taking me out of the trade that's currently running. I don't want that. So but like I said, it could still do that, right? All right, so or it could come down to this 5041 or 5042 level, right? 5041 level or this other level, 4975 level. So take note of those two levels, 5041 or 4975 level. All right, so and if you look here, this level is quite key, this 5050 level. So it's still around this 5041 level, right? So price could most likely come down into this level, and from there we'll start seeing rejections. So let's go to the 4 hour. Let's see if we're going to see any other thing that we might need to take into considerations. Now good. Now as you can see, there is no swing low, swing high around this point right now. The last swing high we have is just right around here, and so it's quite difficult. It's because of what happened on Friday, the way gold was, messing up with people, right? But we're still in on that trade. Very good. So now, based on what we're seeing here, we have to mark this particular high right here. So it's a very key one, right? Let's see if gold is going to break it. Now this is what I think could happen next week, right? We could see a pullback downwards into this level that we talked about, either this first level 50 for the one level, or downwards to 4974 level, which I wouldn't want that to happen, which is around 5,000 level, right? Or like I said, we could see a pullback down like this and it continues, right? So even into this level right here is also key. All right, this 5021 level, that's also a key level. So this entire range right there, right, price could give us some rejections from there. Or another thing that could happen, I don't want this to be too long, is we could see price just create a gap, break higher above this level, and then we start seeing it come back down much later, test this level, and then continue to go up around here, which is this 5094 level, right? Or even test the above this level, right? So something of this nature could actually happen, right? This is what I'm saying. So is either price comes down for a major retracement to continue its push upwards, or it just creates a gap upwards and then comes back down to test it here and then continues. So I think this is the most sensible thing that I think could actually happen. What do you guys think? So this is what I'm going to be looking out for. Anyway, we are still going to be sticking to looking for buying opportunities, right? And if you look here, you see there's a fair value gap right here. So it makes sense that price could actually come down into this level and retest that level, and from there we could start looking for our buys. So let's see how it goes next week. So this is what I'm going to be looking out for, guys. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think, and also, like I always say, don't forget to subscribe and join our free Telegram, because that's where we're going to post everything that we're going to be doing. So that's it, guys, for this week. Do hope you have a wonderful trading week. Peace out, guys. Bye.